What's up, everybody? This is Masaki coming to you live from State 43, and it's been a while. Today, let's talk a little about heroes. So, as for my state 43, the Tier 5 heroes just dropped this week. So, we've kind of been going through and learning about them and looking at them. So, first thing, I just want to talk about these three Tier 5 heroes and then kind of go over what kind of things they can do, what they're good at. The first thing you'll notice with Tier 5 is that their stats are way super good, right? So as an example, a Major 5, Eli and Emma hero here, he already has military stats of 300%, 308 to be exact, on infantry attack and defense. Majority of things you're looking for usually are around the military stats here. That's a big game breaker or make or breaker for a lot of heroes. And as you know, as the heroes tier up, these max stats are better. So for comparison, if you look at like Ash, which is tier 3, she's at this is Major Colonel, right? So Lieutenant Colonel 2, and her stats, so it's higher than Emma and Eli, and her attack is only 200%. So right away, you'll notice Eli is better. The other thing you'll notice with Tier 5, actually this started with Tier 4 heroes too, is you no longer have to upgrade the skills through just using books. What you do here for upgrade is very simple. You just rank them up and then you get the hero skills upgraded automatically. One other thing I noticed that the SOS team starts doing now is a lot of these heroes, they're doing variable effects that kind of happen through the phases of the fight, right? So it's a little bit more apparent on Roxy, but we can kind of talk about it and see it on Eli as well. There's a lot of effects that's like, as you stay inside the fight longer, something happens, or they stack damage, or they stack defense. Okay, so let's go ahead and start looking through each one of the heroes in detail. So first up, let's talk about Emma and Eli. Really cool background story, actually. Basically, they're brothers and sisters. Emma is the brains and then Eli is the bronze, right? So they kind of work together and they fight. The first thing you want to know is if you are a free-to-play player, I highly recommend unlocking this hero and putting some like fragments into. This hero is pretty good for a tier 5. It has really great skills. It's really defensive, so it's really good for if you're hunting or doing PvPs. It will really save your troops when you're fighting. The other thing you'll notice is that this hero is kind of good for enemy settlement troop lethality. So this is really good for attacking, right? You can rally, and you could basically make sure that the enemy troops do not kill as many of your troops on attacks. This is especially important if you do a lot of PvP and you like attacking settlements. Good hero for using for that. Okay. Normally for hero reviews, I don't talk about Explorer, but I will make a special exception for this hero. This hero is really interesting. It's one of two brawlers that's able to, in exploration, heal. So the way that this happens is that Emma and Eli will have a different effect. So this is this skill right here, this sibling symbiosis. Basically, when health is greater than 50%, they fire faster. But when health is lower than 50%, they restore about 1,000 health per second. This is actually a really useful stat. And just for comparison, if you want to look at another hero that does this, the only other one I can think of right now is Chef, and his recovery is only 1/4 of that. But he does do it constantly, so it's a little bit different. Just something you can think about for healing. But yeah, this increased fire rate is great. The other thing I noticed, and I think this is the first time I've ever seen this, Emma and Eli, their attack range is huge. Let me show you what that looks like. So let's just go do this, exploration, pick any stage. We'll pick like a early stage just so I don't have to go through all of this, okay? All right, we'll drop Emma Eli into that. Most brawlers, if you notice, what they can do is maybe attack like a little bit in front of them. Emma Eli, on the other hand, can attack really far. And so that's something that is very beneficial for a brawler. The only downside, and this is only going to be temporary, is that I do believe there is a bug currently with Emma Eli where their attack does not actually do any damage. It's kind of hard to tell, obviously, when you have good heroes that are going to do damage, but their auto attacks do not appear to be doing any damage, or if they do, they're doing very minimal. You can see he's shooting, but these zombies aren't getting hit until Travis hits them. So there's something buggy about this hero so far. I hope it's just for my state and it's not something that's been around for a long time. But look at this attack ring, it's huge. So let me move him back. You'll see that this attack ring is almost as far as somebody like one of the marksmen, like Mike. So that's really, really important and interesting. All right, I'm not going to finish this. I'll just go ahead and give it up. So something to think about for that hero in exploration. I think he's going to be very good to use. The only issue is, of course, that bug. It makes it really annoying. Yeah, otherwise, there's nothing specifically amazing about this hero with respect to the skills. So let's talk about military, talk about, when you're using this hero as a rally leader, attack, defense, etc. So when you're marching with this hero, the first skill really is pretty powerful because it's basically saying every single 4 attacks, they shift from attacking to defensive, right? So on attacking and defensive, both sides just reduce damage. So as you can see, it's minus 50% damage caused to squad and minus 25 damage to herself before next attack. So basically every 4 attacks, they will reduce damage to the entire squad. A lot of times this type of skill is really hard to calculate because I think if you take 50% and then you divide it by 4 attacks, that's kind of like your expected value per attack of how much damage you're actually reducing. But it doesn't quite work like that because your troops are kind of already dead. You can't unheal them, right? So it's a little bit tricky. Still, just effectively think about this skill as something that's very defensive, very similar to the reduce, opponents' attacks or damage on your troops type of thing. Second skill, family first. It basically just says, hey, let's take 10% less damage again. So this is just straight up stacks again with this. That's really good. So you already have 2 damage reduction skills in one hero. Now the third skill here, basically is saying that you on the attack. So remember, every 4 attack they switch between attacking and defensive. On the attacking or the offensive state, they will actually do extra damage, right? And then also take less damage. So this is really interesting, right? So you have 3 stats that basically always will reduce damage. Now, I don't know specifically how it works within battle. The game doesn't really make it super obvious. But I will tell you, based on paper, these stats are amazing. Like this tells me it's reducing a lot of damage. Just looking at some other hero like Ash, which is pretty good, you're basically looking at some hero that can like reduce a little bit of damage. Or like here, Nikolai is a good example, right? He increases all troop health by 25%. But the other 2 things are just kind of not that useful. They're gonna do extra damage, but that's more for the rally leads. It's not really 3 skills that are all reducing damage. So something like this as a tier 5 hero is amazing. It's really, really good. Okay, so that's it. So why should you pick out Emma and Eli? First, it's pretty easy to grab this hero. You can get it from Ray's place every 2 weeks during the SOTF, Survival of the Fittest event. Highly recommend you doing it. How many spins you do, that's really up to you. Check out my other video on Survival of the Fittest for info on how to kind of optimize that for different types of players. Just in general, for this type of stats here, I highly recommend using this hero. It's really easy to get for free to play player F2P players. It's just going to be useful. Okay, so let's talk about the second hero. The scout of the 2 groups is Tweak. I'm gonna be honest, nothing super special. If you watch any of my PvP videos, you'll know that the general troop composition you want has very little riders. So my opinion on heroes that boost rider skills are kind of like, it's okay. Like you should use it. These skills are going to be important, but honestly, maxing this guy out, you're going to have to do it for those who are rally leaders. But honestly, the skills, just this kind of buff to riders, until the game changes how the balance of the 3 troop tiers work, it really won't, troop types, it really won't matter that much, right? But let's look at the other skills, right? So this is reducing enemy settlement troop attack. Really cool, because that's basically on defensive. They'll do less damage. And then, of course, another reduction, increase of your troop lethality when you're defending. So kind of like half and half. I don't like heroes that split this. I do like heroes that kind of do both. For example, had this second skill here, or basic stat, been increased rally troop lethality, right? So on attack, you get 7%, and their defense attack is minus 3.5%, much better. Again, these stats are relevant to your hero's rank. Mine is basically just the first rank, so that's why these stacks really suck. I'm basically saving the fragments for the events to be able to fully benefit from using them. Cool, so let's talk about the skills. The first skill is Stimulant. Basically, just again, the infantry will do a little bit more damage. Honestly, I'm not really sure what the point of the skill is, because infantry normally don't do that much damage anyways. You really want hunters or riders to do more damage. Okay. Second skill is Vitalizer. So if you're using this hero to join rally, it's really not doing anything. So, yeah. Okay. Second skill is Vitalizer. So this thing is kind of like, in some ways, a skill that's like reduce damage or increase health type of thing, right? So basically, it's kind of like healing your squad a little bit. Now, 2% is not insignificant if that's counting for the entire rally. That could be a lot. So that's pretty cool. I really have to see the skill in play to see how powerful it is. Just reading the stats is not enough for me to know. And the last one is basically, it's just the extra damage bonus, right? So this is going to give probably 30% extra damage at the end of the upgrades, or 25%. Yeah, so right away, it's just a straight 25%, very similar to heroes you've seen like, Eva, increase troop damage by 25%, or, Sarge, this type of hero thing. So tweak, again, but the thing is, it's not the first skill, so you can't really use that for rally joining. Again, just something that I think about these kind of heroes. I think this one is probably the least interesting of the tier 5 heroes so far. The last one, which I haven't located yet, but I have the frags ready, is Roxy. I think Roxy is a really good hero, but I really think Roxy is not a hero for free-to-play players. And here's why. It's hard to get Roxy frags. Currently, the only way to do it is basically paying for bundles that will give you vouchers to get her, right? So you can buy your 100 vouchers using 1,500 biocaps, but after that, you're going to have to pay money for the actual bundles that give vouchers. But honestly, that's how you're going to be able to get it. Most players who use heroes like that, they know that they have to basically pay for this hero. Now, despite saying all that, I will say Roxy is a really solid hero. Final stats are going to be, once you max her out, is going to be, let's check it. Here we go. 490%. By the way, this is going to be true for all tier 5 heroes. So every single tier 5 hero at max is going to add 490% damage and attack and defense to the hero type of their representative, right? So brawlers to infantry, marksmen to hunters, and then, of course, scouts to riders. Okay, so let's talk about Roxy a little bit. The first I will notice right away is, the first skill, right? Verse. Every 2 attacks deal 15% extra damage to enemy riders. It's interesting. I'm not sure how many percent riders are in a enemy lineup. Now, again, it depends on their lineup, but it's kind of cool that you can kind of start dealing damage to the semi-damage dealers of a team. So I like that fact. It's kind of like bypassing infantry. So as you probably know, if you watch some of the videos I have on here or played this game a little bit, damage goes to infantry first, then to riders, then to hunters. There are some special cases where you're able to bypass some of that damage across infantry directly to hunters or directly to riders. This is one of those ways. Okay. So I would rather have this skill. So obviously this skill at max is going to be around 50% or, even higher. So that's pretty good. But I would rather the skill to be just directly extra damage, period. That would be much better. even if it's a little bit less percentage, because it's not limited. Imagine if the enemy has 0 riders. Does this skill do nothing? So that would be pretty bad. Cool. The second skill here, Refrain, is every 3 attacks, her attacks are stackable plus 1%, probably 5% at max level permanently. This is really good because this tells me if you have a long drawn out fight, especially for example when you're doing Capital Clash, State versus State, these large rallies where that rally can last for 100 rounds of fighting. This skill here will stack like a really good chunk of damage right on your side. You basically, if you have this hero and they don't have this hero, you're kind of going to win very easily. So really, really strong. It makes your entire team super strong. Remember, because the damage kind of just adds up over time, she's going to be very helpful to have this skill. And the last skill here is Flow. So every 5 attacks, the damage is caused by the whole squad is plus 10%. So if you think about what you're doing here, Refrain stacks on top of Flow. So these two are going to stack. So it's actually going to be 5% extra of 10%. It's not directly 15%. It's not additive, but it does stack with each other. So that's really, really strong. This one is not stackable though. So it's a little bit different. But basically what this will do is this will make it so that you're basically just dealing a bunch of more damage. But being that these 2 skills are the second and third skills, this is really great for rally leaders because all skills are active, right? So I think she's going to be basically the top tier hero no matter what kind of rank. For most rally leaders, she's going to be very strong. Her skills are really strong. And the best part now is something I love about tier 4, tier 5 heroes is that as you kind of rank them up, the skills auto learn. You don't have to spend skill books on them anymore, which honestly is super annoying. So that's a really good change. That's pretty much it. I mean, I would just say for tier 5 heroes, if you're free to play, in conclusion, if you're free to play, definitely get Emma Eli. I just think it's going to be really useful for solo attacks, for other things. I'll kind of show you on an updated PvP video how I do solo attacks and how I can get resources with minimal troop loss. And then as far as like Tweak goes, Tweak is that's right. I forgot to say, Tweak, as far as I can tell right now, is a reward from the Survival of the Fittest events. So you're not really going to get too many frags from Tweak, and it's very you're going to have to rush really hard to get lots of frags, like rank higher, much higher. So probably not that worth it for people who are just kind of doing this from a perspective like for free to play players, whatever. But if you just kind of want to max everything, yes, absolutely, you're going to have to need Tweak because he's going to give your riders 490% extra attack and defense. It's not trivial, right? It's better than everything else that's in the game so far. And then lastly with Roxy, I would say, yeah, absolutely. If you're a rally leader and you have you're going to be spending on this game, yeah, I think Roxy is going to be a great hero. So really solid skills, really just good stats all around. I guess the issue becomes whether when tier 6 comes out, because after tier 6 comes out, these heroes are going to be overshadowed by them. So that's something to think about. But otherwise, yeah, that's basically the hero review for all 3 new heroes of tier 5. If you like videos like this, let me know, and I'll try to make more hero videos. I just know that sometimes people comment and sometime in the past, people commented and told me, hey, I really want to see a video about heroes, talk about Daryl, talk about these other heroes. Unfortunately, I did miss a good chunk of the game. I was out doing some stuff for a while, so kind of coming back to the game, I've missed a good chunk of tier 3, tier 4 heroes so far. So I can definitely talk a little bit about them, but I'm still kind of learning. And yeah, cool. So that's it. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Masaki from State 43. You stay classy.